My first instinct is just to add in the intro, just that. Let's think about just some maybe 808s here. Let's look for a percolate. Add a transient shaper to this chant and just increase the attack and decrease the sustain so that it hits kind of more like a perk and doesn't take so long. Actually just decrease the density of these chants just because it gets a little too much, and if anything I want to bring the energy in later in the track. Next I want a more functional melody. Let's just try this. More of like a verse or just a section with lower energy now. I think that probably I'm gonna keep this piano in. Alright, so obviously this is not ideal right now because this 808 is not filling up this bass frequency for as long as I would like, because its sustain is just simply too small, and also it's just way too dominant in the space right now. So I'm going to try to use reverb to kind of get rid of both those problems. I want to use the reverb tail to fill in more of this space for longer, and I also want to use the reverb itself to kind of lighten the weight of this 808. Alright, so I'm really disliking this snare right now. Okay, I just spent forever looking for the right snare or perk or snap, and I'm gonna use a clap. I think that's what I've been looking for, because it just fits the same type of organic feel as these chants. I'm gonna try doing a new melody here and kind of have this song play off of these two melodies, whatever comes next in this section, because this section is just so, the vibe is so different than this. Let's also try to use some type of ambient noise texture here. I'm going to show you a trick that I love to do. So I'll just get some type of ambient noise, in this case like especially something with some type of voice or voices in the background. I'm going to roll off the low end and the high end. I'm going to add a grain delay and take the frequency all the way down, take the pitch, turn to -12, and yeah. It just creates this really interesting atmosphere. Like I said before, I'm going to try to fill in this space lastly with one other melody. this is sounding really bland right now, but I just want to create this structure and see what I can do just for some sense of structure. Yeah, some type of skeleton that I can work off of. So in this last section, I want to see if I can incorporate this melody. With a new instrument. Alright, so for this final section, I decided to just double the same two melodies that I've been playing throughout the track with new instruments to add some new flavor and life and energy towards this last kind of climactic section of this song, instead of just being these two instruments. I've also added these two. So my decision to add these two instruments in particular to mirror and double both of these melodies is largely due to the fact that they are rather percussive in their nature. They have a very sharp transient, which helps to give some more structure and clarity during this last section of the track, whereas these two synths are very kind of long and cloudy. These two other percussive kind of pluck or bell instruments cut through that. leave it there for just a moment. I'm going to go mix this and add some, see if I can add anything. Alright, so I'm going to leave it there for right now. I'm going to go mix this and make it a lot less messy, and see if there's anything I can add creatively to kind of shape this song a bit more. But yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. Made some major changes to this track. Number one, let's just go over the drums. I've added a new snare layer on top of these claps just because I like how they sound better together, and I felt like the claps themselves were getting the job done. So that layer of claps is now going to be layered with a snare. Alright, secondly, the hats stayed largely the same. All that is different is that there's a new type of hat texture on top of them. So normally, these are the hats. That's how they sound alone, and now with this texture. Yeah, and that is about it for the drums. Moving on, yeah, mostly everything is consistent until this type of climax section, other than a decision to add some drums into these kind of more sparse areas. Yeah, and in this final climax section, I've decided to, instead of playing these two instruments that I just showed you before, so instead of that, I've decided to replace this instrument with a much different type of lead, but that also still accomplishes this goal of cutting through the mix and adding more energy here. And I've also added this slightly different melody to this instrument to also add a sense of change and evolution and, yeah, drama to this kind of climax section. And lastly, yeah, I just decided to go without this last synth here. And instead of doing that, which again was to bring out and add some more structure and add some more clarity to this melody, I've just decided to bring this pad, which I've just called the darkness pad, up an octave from this. To yeah, so I'll just play this track as it is for you guys now. So that's about where I'm gonna leave this track for now. I'm gonna mix and master it because it's still quite messy. But yeah, it was fun. It's definitely a new sound for me, even though I'm using a lot of the same sound selection and instrumentation. It's just a new vibe that I've yet to explore, so bear with me if it's a little bit, experimental, if you know what I mean. But yeah, if you guys want to see what this track ultimately turns into, there should already be a YouTube video uploaded on my channel for beat leasing. And yeah, that just shows the completed and unabridged version of this beat after I've made any last minute creative changes and mix and master this beat to completion. And if you guys want to create anything with this loop, which is called For the Wicked, or many loops like it, you guys should check out my free loop kit, All My Chains Are Snakes, and you can download that in the description below. So thank you so much for the time you spent with me here today in the zone. I appreciate every single one of you. Peace.